One of the things that you can do that will make carving your linoleum easier to see is to stain it somehow. Now, what I've done on this scrap of linoleum is I've taken just a Sharpie marker and my Faber-Castell Pitt pen marker, and I've drawn a little bit of my design on the linoleum. Right? Now, when we're carving, we want to carve out everything but the black lines that define our shapes. Right? So if I want each of these shapes to just be white, I need to carve all of that out. And if I want just the lines to show up, I need to leave those areas uncarved. Now, when we're carving areas in the linoleum, it can be a little hard to see what we've removed and what we've left. And so staining the linoleum helps to allow us to see that more easily. So I have just a light colored marker that I'm using, and you can see that that stains it pretty well. You can still see those black lines really easily, and when I start to carve, the carved areas will look like unstained linoleum so that you can easily see what's been carved and what hasn't. Any kind of marker typically will do this. I even have a Marks-a-Lot marker, which will make some nice bold red marks on there. See, that stains it also really well. The main thing is, however you stain it, you still want to be able to see those dark lines easily, because the function again of the stain is to allow us to see our carved marks easily. Now, one method that works really well, especially for big areas, is acrylic craft paint. You can get little containers of these for just a couple of bucks in most places, even Walmart, as well as Michael's, Hobby Lobby. Those kinds of places will carry things like this. Now, this one is a really pigmented craft paint, acrylic paint, and what I'm going to do is put just a drip on the surface, and I want to use a paper towel then to just rub that into the surface and then take as much off as I can. I want to really just leave a stain behind. I don't want a thick film of acrylic paint on here. That's pretty easy to achieve with this kind of paint, this craft paint. That's a little harder to do and is imperative to do with regular acrylic artist paint. You know, if you let this dry on the surface without wiping it all off, it can leave thick ridges that then will make marks that can print. So again, we want just a nice thin layer on here. Right? Once this is dry, I've got this sponge that I've dampened with water. It will take it off, but at a certain point it'll no longer take it off. We have to actually take the paint off with isopropyl alcohol. In fact, this will take off everything on here. It'll take the red marker off, the pink marker, the black lines even. So that can come in handy when I want to clean part off and redraw an area. Now I'm going to draw into this, and you can see my lines stayed fairly strong. If lines get a little weaker, you should be able to just draw right back on top, as well as draw into the stained parts, right, with any of these markers. Some are going to be stronger, some are going to be weaker. It just depends on the marker and the pigment that's in it. Okay, so now we're effectively ready to print. If, as I said, I want to take this off for any reason, I can use isopropyl alcohol to do that. So if I pour a little bit on the surface, you can see